This video will present an honest rundown that only the Pleb Underground will give you about the alleged strategic Bitcoin reserve bills at the state level. And spoiler alert, there is no strategy, and for the most part, they aren't about Bitcoin. And guys, I'm just tired of being silent about political and influence grift games. So don't trust, verify. Join me in a sanity check on several bills that will be put to vote very soon. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to give us a like and a sub. Let's dive in. It's Sir Ulrich, and are you down with the Underground? Now, these state house and state senate bills are providing some bullish news, at least on face value. But of course, some people delivering news expect you to only read the headlines. Well, I read all of these bills, so I'll provide a brief summary to you. And of course, some of your favorite sources for Bitcoin news neglected to be objective and honest, but no surprise there. I value your time, so without any more delay, let's step through. New Hampshire House Bill 302 is kind of funny because, you know, the saying on X, "You are the media now." You know, because we can't trust the legacy media that lies and manipulates stories. So someone tell me why we have a wave of lying media aggregators claiming a strategic hashtag Bitcoin reserve for a state bill that doesn't even mention Bitcoin once. Swan Bitcoin, Bitcoin Archives, Mario Nawful, Vivek For Real, Dennis Porter, and of course, Bitcoin Magazine. These posts all make sure to drill Keith Ammon's name in your head. Now, why the hell do I care about a state representative for the state the size of Crimea? New Hampshire's House Bill 302 enables 10% of its state funds to the investment of precious metals, digital assets, and stable coins. Remember that one. These investment decisions would be made by the state treasurer. Special caveat, the digital assets must have a market capitalization over $500 billion. Now, this sounds like a win for Bitcoin, but Ethereum, which hasn't seen that threshold since the top of the bull market last cycle, that's November 2021, it still has a chance to pass that this year if Bitcoin has any significant gains beyond $100,000. The language was clearly drafted to encourage the state to stay away from saving in digital sound money. So to echo all the cheerleaders, you can thank State Representative Keith Ammon for New Hampshire leading the way in blockchain and data center speculation. After all, that's what we wanted, right? North Dakota House Bill 1184. Again, we have the likes of Swan Bitcoin, Vivek For Real, Cryptos R Us, Dennis Porter with big breaking news, and Bitcoin Magazine, purporting that this bill is directly in support of Bitcoin adoption. But it's not. HB 1184 proposes allowing North Dakota's universities and school land boards, state investment boards, and the state treasurer to invest up to 10% of the managed funds in precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, or in digital assets with a market capitalization over 500 billion averaged over the previous year. Sounds familiar. Or stable coins, again with the stable coins, remember that one. The bill defines digital assets to include, quote, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other electronic assets, unquote. But you know, just like the New Hampshire bill, it doesn't ever mention Bitcoin outright, not even once, not even as an example. Again, Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency above $500 billion in market cap for now, but that can easily change in 4 to 6, 8 years. XRP, Solana, Ethereum, maybe something we haven't even seen yet can grow to where that could become a legal and maybe even preferred investment for this state. And the difference between those networks and Bitcoin is they actually provide benefits to specialized participants. Bitcoin does not. It's the Cantillon effect, man. The rich get richer, stake it till you make it, Keynesian economics. You know, creating official grifts and scams under the banner of political office or agency. And you just can't do that with Bitcoin. Remember, inflation and monetary games are a benefit to a lot more people than your average influencer will tell you. And those people don't want to lose that privilege. They just don't. Sad world, right? After reading the first two, you would think everything around Bitcoin politics is just fake. Well, Pennsylvania House Bill 2664 is actually a Bitcoin-focused bill that explicitly identifies Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and prioritizes direct Bitcoin holdings and Bitcoin ETFs for state treasuries and retirement funds. We understand that 401ks, retirements, they have to hold ETFs, at least for right now. It explicitly mentions Bitcoin 15 times, including the name Satoshi Nakamoto and the white paper. That's pretty good. This bill also gives investment decision authority to the state treasurer alone. It calls out the general fund, the budget stabilization reserve fund, and other funds managed by the treasurer as sources for money to invest. It doesn't mean they'll just ape into Bitcoin though. Their limit will be no more than 10% of those funds mentioned, and will still likely be split into other digital assets when this goes to law. Now, Oklahoma House Bill 1203 also pays tribute to Nakamoto in the white paper, and at least this one doesn't mention anything about gold, platinum, or silver. But still, this bill discusses a plethora of digital assets. It also takes several lines to discuss how they'll handle stablecoins. Now, what the hell is this about? The Bitcoin bill talking about a basket of CBDCs? Oh, I meant stablecoins. Is there a difference? That's another rabbit hole that I'm sure you've heard on this channel. And you wonder if there's a traveling blockchain circus trying to force their coins into the market through policy and lobbying, like use my state-sponsored token or else. SD 422 is a Massachusetts Senate bill that would be worth touching on specific points if it wasn't a generic copy of the others. Now, I feel like this state senator, Peter J. Durant, outsourced phraseology of cryptocurrency, had his aide draft up 57 lines of generic empty BS and reach out to Bitcoin Twitter to get a viral moment in the sunshine. I guess it's a thankless job to be a state senator. So obviously, Durant was looking for some thanks. So let's say it all together. Thank you, Peter Durant, for nothing. And if this is an indicator of how other issues are handled at state legislators, I can understand why there's waste and redundancy in government. Is there any work being done at all, or just hundreds of little kings and queens sitting on their temporary thrones while looking for their next one? Somewhere out there, Hans Hermann Hoppe is just laughing. Wyoming, home to Bitcoin Senator Lummis, has House Bill 201. The 3 state reps and 1 state senator can stand proud as the owners of the strategic reserve bill with the most mentions of the word Bitcoin. Now, especially when you consider that some of these bills were labeled Bitcoin focused by Bitcoin media platforms, it's like a breath of fresh air that 1 or 2 actually are not lies and fabrications. So interesting details here. The investment limit is no more than 3% of the quote general fund, the permanent Wyoming Mineral Trust Fund, the permanent land fund, unquote. Most of the other bills that we're discussing allow for as much as 10% of the fund investments respectively. Now, additionally, this is the only bill that did not define digital assets as NFTs, cryptocurrencies, and other ripoffs of Bitcoin. So these other bills, even with 10% of their funds to play with, it's likely these government degens will not even use it to buy Bitcoin. They'll just buy Ethereum and stablecoins. I don't know. I'd say Wyoming is on a decent path, relatively speaking. And here we go again. I gotta say, I'm confused. I don't know why Pete Rizzo, the Bitcoin Conference, Vivek For Real, Dennis Porter, Swan Bitcoin, Julian Farrer, the Bitcoin Magazine. Why are we celebrating State Govey Jordan D. Tusher? His Utah House Bill 230 treated the word Bitcoin like it's taboo. Like, what's to celebrate here? I'd rather him say Bitcoin is for criminals and be done with it. And all these influencers call this a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. What are they trying to influence you to do, to accept it without looking at it? This one is just like New Hampshire and North Dakota mentions the word Bitcoin 0 times. And then most people will say, look, it says 500 billion market cap or higher. That's only Bitcoin. Yeah, but right after it follows the phrase or stablecoins. Stablecoins don't have to meet the $500 billion market cap. It says the same thing in the North Dakota bill, the New Hampshire bill, and others. These bills are just an attempt to legally hold dollars in Tether or Circle or any other stablecoin out there. When did the dollar stablecoin become the decentralized future? I guess when Bitcoiners started blindly or willingly supporting it. And I gotta admit, I'm reading these bills and I'm thinking that each state is gonna be unique. They're gonna have their own flavor, their own style of what they wanna approach crypto and Bitcoin with. But I was so tripped up about how much the wording was identical that I had to put a few of these bills through a text analysis tool. And I did. I put 3 of these bills through one, and I elicited the following results. Utah and New Hampshire, they're 70.6% similar. And Utah, North Dakota, 62.7% similar. New Hampshire, North Dakota, 56.7% similar. Overall, the similarity across these bills is 63.3%. Guys, they're the exact same thing. It's just boilerplate. There is no difference. Who's writing these and why are they writing them identically? You might as well bring them up to the federal level. Man, this stuff is sad. But one last one before I call it quits. Ohio House Bill 713 has managed to mention Bitcoin 15 times in the document, but without really saying anything about what they're going to do. No fund limit specified, no clarity around execution, just boilerplate custody statements, and that Bitcoin, quote, is a valuable digital asset and property with strategic potential for enhancing the state's fiscal resilience. Now, someone tell me, what the hell does that even mean? Look, I'm sorry if I'm not impressed by a royal declaration from the chiefs of Ohio, but the free market just don't really care about, what's his name? Derek Merrin? Why do we care what Derek Merrin has to say about Bitcoin? But it seems like the same cast of influencer characters want you to. Porter, Vivek for Real, Bitcoin Magazine, Swan, Rizzo, Nawful, they all said yay when Ohio created this boilerplate nonsense bill. Real talk, if you're watching this channel, you should know we care about substance. And these bills, they don't have any substance. I'm not even going to say a little. And they are primarily crypto grifts. And the few that seem to focus on Bitcoin, they're so obscure you would hardly notice their impact in the free market. So I don't know. Let's just remember that state politicians are there primarily to funnel tax breaks to the people that help them get elected. Hardly any of them really care about where their state's going to be in 10 to 20 years because their goal is to be in a higher office or enriched off their current office. Bitcoin locked in the state treasury does not accomplish that. So hey, pardon the bearishness. I know some people will want me to ignore the fakeness of all this and have hope. Well, I happen to have hope in good things with strong foundations, and I know some of you out there do too. These bills are built on scams, undercover CBDCs, and shallow marketing. And to anyone shilling this stuff, do better. So the moral of this story, don't rely on the state to validate your actions. Stack sats, take care of your Bitcoin, and your Bitcoin will take care of you. And that's really all that matters in this game twisted by political theater. I am Sir Ulrich, like my father before me. Stop begging the government to pump your bags.